Okay, here we go. Another video. This time we will be talking about matrices. I remember I did a video probably a couple of years ago on how to do a matrix, but it was a row by row operation type matrix, but I wanted to show a way that you can do matrices in your calculator. So this section will be dedicated to showing you how to do that. I don't like the way I wrote that, so I'm going to rewrite it. Sorry. Matrices. So first of all, we use matrices when we are trying to figure out a solution to a system of equations. Now, I'm not sure if you know what a system of equations are, but let's look at an example of a system, right? So let's say I have 4x minus y equals 12. And then I also have 2x plus y equals negative 12. Okay, this is considered to be a system of equations. Why? Because it's two or more equations and you're considering them at the same time. If you look at both of these equations, they can be, if you draw them on an xy plane, they will look like a line. So a system of equations, like I could draw a line like this, and then the other line could be something like this. And the goal is to find the solution. So the solution for a system of equations is usually the place where they meet. This right here is considered to be the solution. Now, back in the day, probably in high school or something like that, you probably had techniques on how you found the solution. Like one technique you can use is graphing, which is what I did. You just graph two lines and figure out the place where they meet. Graphing, that's one technique. The second technique could be like substitution. Like you learn how to do substitution with a system and you can learn what that ordered pair is going to be. And then lastly, you could use addition. Sometimes they call it the elimination method. So addition, elimination, that's like the same type method. But it's these techniques we use to basically find that point. And remember, that point is an ordered pair because you're talking about an XY plane. It's some kind of ordered pair that shows where those two lines meet. So with that being said, we're not going to use any of those methods. We're going to use matrices to solve this system of equations. But there's something that I have to show you how to do. You have to know how to draw your matrix. So a matrix is where you basically just take the numbers that are in this system. So I'm going to take 4, negative 1, 12. All I'm doing is taking the coefficients. 2, 1, negative 12. Look how these numbers match up to the numbers that are in your system. I'm just taking the coefficients. 4, negative 1, 12, 2, 1, 4, negative 1, 12, and 2, 1, negative 12. I thought I read that wrong. Another thing I want to point out is the size of the matrix. This matrix is a 2 by 3 because there's 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is a 2 by 3 matrix. That's important to know when you're putting it in your calculator. Okay, I'm just going through all this little stuff to make sure you know how to set it up in your calculator. You have to know what the size of your matrix is. So I think it's safe if we try it one more time before we reach for our calculator. Let me put another system down. 4x minus 3y equals negative 1. And 2x plus y equals 3. Now, I just want to draw the matrix. You can draw it with me, right? So I'm just taking the numbers only. Don't take the variables. So 4, 2, negative 3, 1, negative 1, 3. I'm just taking the numbers. And what I want you to point out too is how the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, and then you have the coefficient. And this again is a 2 by 3 because it's 2 rows and 3 columns. It's a 2 by 3 matrix. Let's do a different size. How about that? I want to do a different size matrix. I need to make another page. New page. New page. New system of equations. I'm going to make a bigger matrix. 2x minus y plus 5 plus z. I'll do another example dealing with that. So 2x minus y plus z equals 0. X plus z equal minus 1 equals 0. And then x plus 2y minus 8 equals 0. So we got a bunch of stuff going on. We got x, y, and z. So first of all, I want you to look at the columns like I was talking about before. You see how the x's are lined up? And then on the y column, I have a z in there. And then on the z column, I have -8 and a -1. I need to set this up so that the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, and the z's are lined up. And then on the other side of the equal sign is just the coefficients. Notice that they need to be lined up. The examples we did before this, it was already lined up. This one, I got to do some work to get them lined up. So let's do that. Notice the x's. So the first one is lined up right. You got x, y, z, and then there's just a solid number on the other side. Good. For the second equation, I need to move the 1 over. So let me rewrite this matrix. You got 2x minus y plus z equals 0. This one is perfect. Now the next one is x. I'm going to skip the y and put the z over here. And then that 1, the plus 1, I move to the other side. I put it on the other side. Good. And then the next one, I need to move the 8 to the other side. So I got to add it. So the next equation is going to be x plus 2y. I don't have a z, so I'm going to skip that space and put the 8 on the other side. So look at how this is lined up beautifully. You got the x's, right? You got the y's. And then you got the z's. And then all the way on the other side of the equal sign, you got just the solid numbers. This is set up perfectly. Now I'm able to make my matrix. Now, if there's any variables that are missing, you put a 0 in that place. So you see the x column is 2, 1, 1. Then I have -1, 0, 2. And then 1, 1, 0. You see how that works out? If you ever have any gaps, you got to put zeros there. And now this is my matrix. Now what size is this matrix? 3 by 4. It's bigger. This is a 3 by 4 matrix. Perfect, perfect. So y'all get that? That's important. Okay. Now we can reach for our calculator now. We need our graphing calculator, by the way. The app that I'm going to use is going to look just like a TI-83, TI-84 graphing calculator. So I'm going to, first of all, pull up a new page. And I'm also, let me write down my equation first. So the equation is going to be, I got to find something. Let's do, I don't want to make nothing up in my head because then it won't work out. 4x minus 3y equals -1. 2x plus 6y equals 3. Okay, let me draw my matrix first. 4, -3, -1, 2, 1, 3. Okay. All right. This is a 2 by 3, 2 columns, 3 rows. Perfect. Now let's go to our graphing calculator. I'm going to pull up my graphing calculator app. The one that I use is the G.calculator. I have the paid version of this. It costs like $4. Okay, if you notice, I press second matrix and I get to a window that looks like this. Second matrix, you're going to get to a window that looks like this, and it has 3 options: name, math, and edit. You go to edit. And when you get to edit, you're going to put the size of your matrix, which is 2 by 3. So press 2, enter, 3, enter. And when you put 2 by 3, A 2 by 3 matrix will show up in your calculator. And this is where you're going to enter all your numbers. Now, just a reminder, to get here, you press second and matrix. On my calculator, it's right above the x to the -1, but it may be different on your calculator. And you press edit, and I just edit the first option. And now I quit. The way you quit is you press second mode and you quit. Go to your main home screen. And the reason why I quit is because I want to go back to my main home screen because I'm getting ready to do a math, a operation, which is RREF. You're going to go down to math and press RREF. RREF, and now you need to tell them you need to pick the name matrix A and put it that you want to do the RREF. Now, RREF stands for reduced row echelon form. The reduced row echelon form will tell you what the solution is going to be. And you notice how it comes up 1, 0, and then 0, 1. And then on the third column, it shows you these numbers, 0.8 and what is that, 1.4. Your solution is everything that's in that third column. That's your solution right there. So we did reduced row echelon form, which is RREF, of the matrix that we made. So we had to go to math, do that, and then go back and pick the name A, and it will give you the solution. You can go to math and pick fraction. If you go to math, let me see, press the math button. Press the math button and press fraction, and it'll say, do you want to put your answer in fraction form? And then it'll put the same solution in fraction form if you want to put it in fraction form. But what you do is you go to your home screen, you put RREF, and then you put in the name of the matrix that you edited, which was, for me, matrix A, and then press enter, and it'll give you the solution. Now, let me do it again and make sure we understand. Remember, it's an ordered pair. So that first number on the top is the X and the second number is the Y. So I'm going to do another one just in case. So let's do, I may have to make up one this time. Let's do 3x. Give me just a minute. 2x. How about -2x plus 4y equals -5. And x minus 3y equals, I'll pick a different number, 7. So let me make my matrix. That's the pattern that I'm doing here. I got to make my matrix. So that's -2, 1. 4, -3, -5, 7. So this is my matrix. What size is the matrix? It's a 2 by 3. I got to remember all that from my calculator. Now let's do this again. So I go to my calculator. I'm just going to act like I'm doing this fresh, clear. I'm going to go to second matrix. I'm going to go over to edit. And I'm going to edit B. 2, oh, don't put 2 by 3. Ignore me. Just put 2, enter, 3, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, because you're telling the calculator what size you want the matrix. 2 by 3. And then I'm going to put my numbers in there. I'm editing matrix B because I want to keep my matrix A in there. It's when you press edit, you're going to have like, I think it's A through L or something like that. You have a bunch of matrices. Now I'm going to press second mode. That will get me back to my home screen. And I'm going to go back to matrix. So second matrix, I'm going to go to math and go down to RREF. Then I go back to matrix, second matrix, and I'm going to pick the name. The name I'm going to pick is B because I edited B. And when I press enter, I got my answer. And I'm going to change this to fraction just because I like the fraction better than the decimal. But either one will work. So my solution here would be -13/2. is your x, and then the negative 9 over 2 will be your y. And that's the ordered pair. Like if you drew these two lines, this is the place where they would meet. Okay. I want to try one more example of a special case, because every math section has special cases. You can't avoid them. Let me get a new page, and we're going to do one special case. Let me just scroll down. So this equation is going to be, this equation is going to be, find something that works. Okay, I had to do a little searching for my special case. There's two types of special cases. There's one that can be no solution, and there's one that can be all real numbers. So I want to show you the difference between the two. So if I gave you an equation, let's say this system that I want to use is, move this around. Remember, one could be no solution and one could be all real numbers. So 5x minus 9y is equal to 2. And then negative 10x plus 18y equals 4. So I'm going to draw my matrix. Always start out by making sure you can draw the matrix. That's just taking the coefficients, take the numbers only, and put them into a matrix. And this is what I'm going to put into my calculator, right? So this is a 2 by 3. I'm being repetitive by saying, making sure you know the size of a matrix. This is a 2 by 3. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to second matrix. Second matrix. I'm going to go over to edit. This time I'm going to edit C. And this is a 2 by 3. 2 enter, 3 enter. I got a 2 by 3 matrix. I'm going to put my numbers in there. 5, negative 9, 2, negative 10, 18, 4. Negative 10, 18, 4. Okay, now I'm going to quit. Press second mode, and that's how you quit. And you go back to your home screen. Now go back to matrix, math, RREF. Go back to matrix, name, C. And then you press enter. So this is the matrix that it gave you. 1, negative 1.80, 0, 0, 1. 1, negative 1.80, and then 0, 0, 1. So let me write this out and show you what this means. So what we have here, you got to think backwards a little bit, right? Because we know the first column is X. You know, the second column is Y, and the last column is just the solid numbers. This right here is the Y column. So they're telling me that my Y is 0. So, okay, if 0 is the Y and then it's equal to 1, that can't be true. 0 is never equal to 1. That's why this is no solution. Because they're saying in the Y column that I have a 0. So 0 times Y is 0. And they're saying that 0 is equal to 1. That's never true, right? That's never going to be true. So let's say you did the solution and you got something like this. Let me show you the difference. This one is no solution, but let me write another one out. Let's say I put 1, negative 1.8, 0. I may change that back to 0, but 0, 0, 0 at the bottom. You know what? I'm changing this negative 1.8. Change negative 1.8 to a 0. Okay, so let's think about what this solution says, okay? So you see how your Y column is zeros? So your Y column is 0. The X column is 1. X is equal to 0. Okay, that's okay. They're saying the Y is equal to 0. So that's 0, 0. That's true. That's actually a true statement because they're saying 0 is in the Y column. 0 times Y is 0. And they're saying that it's equal to 0. That's a true statement. That's actually always true. So for this one, your answer is going to be all real numbers. Does that make sense? So you got one that's no solution and one that's all real numbers. I hope this makes sense. This is really quick. Thank you for watching.